of the human cost? We heard from the Right Honourable Member for Maidenhead in her powerful speech. Lives blighted, lives shortened, lives lost. Let me just take one example. How can it be right to cut aid for clean water by 80%? Now, the arguments against doing that are so strong. The importance of clean water for hand washing in a pandemic. The fact that the single most important thing we can do if we want to reduce infant mortality, apart from improving immediate postnatal care, is to provide clean water. Because every day, babies and small children die because they drink dirty water. And the fact that clean water helps girls to go to school, the very thing that the government says is a priority. And I learned as the International Development Secretary, and the Right Honourable Member for Sutton Coldfield talked about his experience. And there are those moments, well, those of us who have the privilege to do the job, when our minds are changed and we learn and we understand. And we realise why something is so important. And in this example, I came across a well one day and a lot of people standing around it, and I was told that the well was closed. Now, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I'd never come across a closed well before. But it was explained that because demand for water in that part of the city was so high, that after the first rush of buckets were drawn from it in the morning, the well had to be closed so the water table had time to replenish to allow the well to be reopened. And one of the people waiting was a girl of about 13 or 14. The well was here, and she was standing there. I can remember it to this day. And she told me in a very quiet voice that it was her responsibility in her family to get the water every day, because until she did so, she could not go to school. And because the well was closed, not just that day, but many days, she was often late for class. And that's what this is about. A lack of plentiful clean water that all of us here take for granted meant a lack of education for her and millions of other girls like her. And are we really going to say that it is acceptable to cut our support for clean water? Is anyone actually going to argue that these cuts are popular with the British people? Because I fundamentally disagree. The British people are much more compassionate than that. And Mr. Deputy Speaker, it's not a competition between charity at home and aid abroad. We can, we should, we must do both. Yeah.